I'd had the concept of a tank like this in mind for some time and finally just started assembling some pieces when I needed a mock-up or a scale model of what a monster tank might feel like in my new fish studio. Thanks for tuning into this video. I think it's going to be a good one. I appreciate you being here. If you've not subscribed to the River Life YouTube channel yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Think about sharing this with someone else if they like this type of content. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. You can be reminded every time we upload new content, which is about every Tuesday. And then Thursday, there's the live stream. Ooh, the River Life Community Tank live stream. The size is not the size of a monster tank. The space and the height and some of the scaled down hardscaping, I was able to imagine what a monster tank might look like, and while I was at it, I put in some effort to make the model very attractive. I'm setting it on a laminate wood butcher block on top of 2x4s, very Japanese feel, and I'm using some Asian pottery on the inside. Those are actually small rice bowls I picked up at a local restaurant supply store. Those are regular 4-inch white tiles and a big box store bag of black polished rock. That's your standard bubble bar in the back and some green airline tubing that came in a recent My Aquarium box made by Cobalt. Going forward with this, I knew it was going to house some goldfish. In my monster tank that will eventually happen, there'll also be some massive goldfish. So I picked up a few goldfish. They actually look great. We're going to talk more about the details in the building of this tank, but first of all, I need to get some cardboard boxes down to the recycle center, just doing my part. And then I like to help out in a more global sense by supporting projectpiaba, who fosters a fishery for sustainably harvested aquarium fishes. I've done some art and donated to projectpiaba and produced several videos describing what a wonderful effort they're doing down in the Amazon River. I've also started my new fish studio. This tank we're working on is a temporary project for the new fish studio. You can learn more about that in a recent video, and you can see some photographs of the messy garage and how the studio is taking shape with the first few pieces of furniture, the first planted aquascape tank and its beautiful inhabitant, the Scarlet Badass. How we're going to use part of that as a wet lab studio, and you'll get the idea of the general aesthetic that we're going for. We're talking about the fish studio more regularly on the River Life Community Tank live stream. That happens every Thursday night. We'd love to have you over there. We talk about the latest things that are happening in the fish studio every Thursday night. Check us out. I'll put a link above and also in the description. Now back to the details on this tank. This rice bowl is perfect. It's 4 inches across, it's round opening, and it sits on a base of about 2 inches in width, which is going to look great on those tiles. And I'm going to put some planted substrate in there, and it's going to house some live plants. I already had this beautiful ornate dragon rice dish from my bonsai hobby, and I've decided to run one of the Aquarium Co-op USB air pumps on this system. Speaking of Aquarium Co-op, this just in. This is my latest purchase from Aquarium Co-op, and it includes lots of cool aquarium goods and plants. Hashtag not sponsored, but if you do go over to Aquarium Co-op to place an order, tell them River Life sent you. Now back to the aquarium. This goldfish setup came out looking really sharp. Here's a clip I posted on the River Life TN Instagram account, which got lots of very positive reviews. I hope you like it. This tank is really starting to come together. I needed some help with the wire management, so I found this nifty package of aquarium hardware that helps label cords and hide wiring, which is beneficial if you're going to have an island aquarium with a 360-degree view. I'm going to show you some clips here of how I experimented with this new tool. The result was fantastic. Definitely achieved my goals and exceeded my expectations. I'll put a link in the description below for this cord management kit by Marineland. I purchased this kit because I was going to do an island-style aquarium and I wanted to know how to hide the cords so they wouldn't interrupt the clean aesthetic that I was going for. This thing really came in handy, and I'm glad that I found it. Let's talk about this filter. It's a topfin MF10. It's a 2-stage filtration system rated for 10 gallons. It quietly filters 97 gallons per hour. It's a strong water flow, I'll tell you that. It's a good looking unit, even though that blue plastic is a little odd. I kind of like it. I've got it situated in the aquarium so that Eladia will grow up and screen the appearance a bit. The spray bar is pretty nice in that it disperses the flow, and you can see all the surface agitation there helping to oxygenate the water. This is a 15-gallon aquarium, by the way, and you can see water movement all the way across the aquarium. It has an adjustable flow rate, and what you're seeing now is the setting on the lowest flow rate. This is the box that it came in. I picked this up at a big box pet retailer for less than 13 bucks. I'm pretty impressed overall with the outfit. I'm not sure about the longevity of the performance, but I do like these filter cartridges. This is the replacement filter cartridge option. It comes with 2 of the sponges, and you'll see that they have a core in the top side that pulls out of there. I'm sorry about the focus on the camera here. Inside the core of this sponge is some carbon. They filled it up with a decent amount of charcoal. But as you can see, if you don't like having the charcoal in the sponge, it's easily removable. So the sponge replacements were $3.99 for 2. I'm looking forward to running this actually. I bought the extra sponges so that I could seed them with some beneficial bacteria. I hope to, when it comes time to clean the sponge, do so in tank water so as not to kill the beneficial bacteria, and also just do a quick change with the used sponge, replace it with a new sponge, and the system won't be out of service any time at all. Now, I'll show you here. I'll just demonstrate exactly how much carbon is in this sponge. Most of that sponge is bored out to hold that much charcoal. Now, I'm going to show you some options that I've thought about as far as the different types of media you can run in this pump, and that's one of the reasons it was so appealing to me. I wanted to try some different things as far as the media goes. This is some product that's just a porous ceramic, and just fill this sponge with that. So if you don't want to run the charcoal, you can run these ceramic pellets as a biomedia. You can do that with or without the plug back in the top. When that thing seats back in its housing, the media is not going to be loose. It's not going to go anywhere. So if you wanted more sponge filtration, you could remove a few of those and put the top of that sponge core back in, or you could just do without it. Another option that I considered was to actually reduce the size of the entire sponge and add an entire bag of the ceramic media as a biofilter. In order to do that, I'll just empty the sponge and use a pair of scissors to cut the sponge basically in half. And once the sponge is cut, you can see that stacked on top of a bag of this filter media, it's going to fit back into the housing. Another option, if you wanted to try something else, if you didn't need the mechanical filtration as much, you could use just 2 bags of the ceramic media in the filter media housing. Overall, I really like this pump. I think I may have some concerns about there being too much water flow even on the lowest setting for these long-finned fish. I definitely would not recommend this for bettas, although I do have a recommendation for bettas that you can find in another video. This pump can be run without the spray bar, but still, even at its lowest setting, it's a pretty strong water flow. I think I'm going to hold off a final recommendation until I see how the fish agree with the amount of water that this filter flows. In the meantime, I'm going to use the spray bar at the lowest setting. Take a look at how far this lowest setting can throw water. If you put this on a 10-gallon that it's rated for and don't adjust the spray bar properly, it could actually spray the water right out of your tank. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this goldfish setup. All told, I'm in at less than $100. The light that we didn't talk about is an old Finex Stingray light. The plants were purchased from various vendors, and I took advantage of sales whenever possible. Not a bad mock-up or model tank for under $100. Now let's take a few minutes and see how the new fish like it. There's a black moor I call Silhouette, or Silly for short. There's a small fancy goldfish fantail I call Peanut, and there's peytonmanning, the Oranda. If you like this video, please hit the like button, and if you're not a subscriber of the River Life YouTube channel, please consider subscribing. Ring the notification bell so you don't miss when we upload new content just like this. Thanks for watching this one, and I hope to see you again on the next one. Until then, why don't you get out there and see it, love it, and live it.